Hello there. Today I want to talk about insanity and sanity, or losing one's mind to stay sane, and really some tips on what to do if you really feel like the whole world has gone mad, because to me it really feels like it has. It feels like a lot of what is going on is completely insane. And the other day I was watching a TV series called Brave New World, and if you don't know, this series was originally a book written quite some years ago by Aldous Huxley, projecting into the future what life would be like. And so this is a series that came out recently, I believe, and it was recommended to me. I didn't even know it existed. I knew the book but not the TV series, and I thought, well, that could be interesting. And I started to watch it, and it was interesting. It is interesting. And after I closed my computer, I felt like, when you go to a movie, normally you walk out of the movie and you're out of the movie and you're back in what we could call, inverted commas, real life. But I closed my computer and I felt like I was still in the movie, because we are in the movie. We're in this crazy movie of things going mad and a world gone mad, and we can't step out of that movie because we're in it. And I don't know about you, how that makes you feel, but for me it's quite a challenge for the head to wrap itself around that new reality. And it reminded me of when I was in hospital 30 years ago with, inverted commas, a mental nervous breakdown, which, as I discovered many years later, really could more accurately have been called a nervous breakthrough or a mental breakthrough, because what it actually was a breakthrough to a new level of consciousness. I literally had my old paradigm of what reality was about shattered, and a new one replaced it. But I didn't realize at the time that was happening. It did take me several years to work it out. And one of the major lessons that I learned from going through that experience was how to navigate life when you feel like you're going mad, when you feel like nothing makes sense and the world is going crazy. And what I learned was that when we're going through a paradigm shift, or an expansion of consciousness, there's a space in the middle between the old paradigm and the new paradigm, where there is a gap, where the new hasn't yet completely formed or set in, and the old is still crumbling away. And there's this space in between, a bit like a chasm between two cliffs. And that's a very scary place to be sometimes for the mind, because the mind likes to be in control. It likes to understand. This is the rational mind. It likes to know what's going on. It likes to be able to make decisions. And it doesn't like it when it doesn't understand what is going on. So what I learned from that experience is the best way, or one of the best ways, to get through an uncertain time like this is simply to recognize that one is going through a very uncertain time, which is creating fear in the mind, and to recognize it and accept it, and in a way surrender to it, and to know that this too shall pass, and that at some point we will reach the other side of the river. Because it's a bit like we're traversing from one side of a river to another, and we don't quite know how long it's going to take to get there, but we will get there. And so rather than fighting, we surrender, and we trust that somehow everything is going to be okay. We don't know how that's going to happen, but we just know that somehow it's going to happen and it's going to be okay. So that is what I mean when I said at the beginning of this, sort of losing one's mind to find sanity. Now we don't have to literally lose our mind, but if we feel like we're losing our mind and that things are crazy, it's true. It is a really quite insane time at the moment, and along with that craziness that is going on in the outside world, it may be that we are experiencing internal shifts and transformation as well, which are uncomfortable for the mind, because, as I said before, we don't feel like we're in control. And so if we can just recognize that there is big change happening and trust and be patient and know that at some point we will come out the other side, then it can be really helpful. And since I had my experience, I've worked with a few clients who were going through a similar transformation of consciousness, but they didn't know it. They didn't know it until we spoke, and I brought it up as a possibility, and then they recognized, oh yeah, that makes sense, and that's what's happening, and so I don't feel so bad anymore, and I don't feel like I'm completely losing my mind anymore. And that helped them to traverse this period of transformation. So for what it's worth, I hope those are some useful thoughts if you feel like you're living in a world gone mad or you're going mad yourself. Wishing you a wonderful day.